the one and the only Kelly Brothers. I will start the interview like this. Kelly, do you still have leftover sushi in your house?
I can neither confirm nor deny that I ate sashimi for breakfast Monday morning.
This
is good intel.
If you follow on Facebook, I actually don't think it was Kelly's fault. I think it was Taro, our friend Taro from Makuni, did one of his chefy things where he goes out, and it's just, I've been at these before a couple times. They're insane. There is so much food. It's so fun. And Kelly was entertaining a large group, and
was on the right side of that.
He was. Yeah. The pictures that they showed, all the fish and everything, just, oh my God. And honestly, and I would like to apologize publicly, Kelly. I couldn't make it. Thank you for asking, but I had the thing I had to do, so I appreciate it. But I'm glad you got to enjoy.
It was, and as you know, the food is incredible, and but Taro's story is even better.
Yes.
You hear Taro talk, and it makes you realize how much gratitude we all should have for where we are and what we do. And I mean, really, I just love his positivity. Has built an empire there, and we're just happy to be in the orbit, to be honest with you.
Even if he's a sellout. Even if he's a sellout. Go ahead, Dave.
That's fine.
I had to ask the sushi hard hitting question.
Kelly, so Dave and I were talking earlier about the A's and their experience here. I mean, actually, the team's playing well. We're seeing, up and down crowds so far. And but what's the future? Not only necessarily here, but do you have a Vegas A's up there?
Well, yeah, and just I'm trying to keep my eye on this, and let's not lose sight of the fact, guys, we are 1 week away from Aaron Judge taking real at-bats along the Sacramento River. I mean, we never would have thought that would have happened.
No.
Right?
No.
So that's coming up next weekend. I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It is.
And so the Yankees, the dreaded Yankees, will be in town. And
Jason's
then
Yankees.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, yeah, no. And you got to go to I went to a game at Yankee Stadium a few years ago. We took the subway. It was about 92 degrees. There were smells there that I will never smell again.
Very true.
But no, about the A's. So just the team says they are now scheduling. I haven't seen a date yet, but they say they are scheduling a groundbreaking for June. That is happening, but we haven't seen a date yet. They also have announced they are set to open their Las Vegas ballpark experience in the fall at a center very close to where the ballpark will be. This will be their little showcase where, for people who want to buy season tickets, they will go and see what it all looks like. So they say they're going to open that up in the fall as well.
The Las Vegas A's baseball, is it somebody being literally lit on fire?
Yeah. Well, no, in the middle of the A's experience is Siegfried and Roy.
Yes.
And that will be no, it's not that.
So we were talking about this earlier, speaking of the A's, Kelly, with them being right at a little above 500, playoffs or at least a wild card. They're a half game out of the wild card right now. Postseason isn't out of reach, or it isn't silly to talk about. And Chris was reading us Rob Manfred's quote where he said the World Series, if the A's were in it, definitely wouldn't be played here, and maybe they'd get around. I imagine if the A's are in some sort of contention for the postseason as the season progresses, that's going to be a much more developing story, because before, when this was talked about, I was like, oh, the A's aren't going to make the postseason. If they do, the idea of having the regular season played here without Sacramento in the name, and then on top of that, they make the playoffs and they're playing either at Oracle Park or the old A's Stadium or Southern California probably, that's going to be the second. It's going to be like Three Stooges. It's going to be another slap in the face to Sacramento's Curly. Yeah, exactly.
No, it would be, and I'm sure I'm sure in league offices they're hoping the A's don't make the playoffs. But it would be awesome for us. Although the games I think I've gone to 3 games now. For the people who are there, it's a joy of baseball, less than the A's. I mean, I went to one game. There were way more Mets fans than there were A's fans in there.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it'll be the same thing with the Yankees.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, if they could get a sniff of the postseason and we get a few games, that would just be a cherry on top. Yeah.
Speaking of playoffs, the NBA is in full swing. Round 1 is getting closer to wrapping up. What's the latest on numbers there as far as viewers and taking this in, Kelly?
Very interesting in that their playoff numbers are good despite some incredibly lopsided blowouts, specifically Miami and Cleveland. But if you look at the overall numbers this year, their broadcast numbers are down about anywhere from 5 to 9%, depending on what metric you look at. Broadcast overall, their streaming numbers are up, and so they are trying to figure out, hey, how do we get to some sort of a national streaming package here, which would obviously lend itself to more parity for the league as well. But if depending on how they split that revenue, but the future is streaming. There's no doubt, and obviously you can stream the over-the-air broadcast as well. But if you look at the numbers, the movement is even quicker than anyone thought it would be from regular old TV to streaming. It's happening.
Well, and one thing that's not talked about to me enough about streaming, two things actually. Number one, when we get to the point where the large majority are streamers, or eventually to where everybody's streaming and cable and satellite kind of fades away, there's a couple of things. It's going to be very interesting to see what Nielsen does when it comes to TV ratings, because now you have a completely different, as it is right now, they sample. They've always sampled. It's the same thing for radio, where I had a buddy who posted on Facebook. They literally send you a $10 bill and say, hey, we're gonna put this box on your near your TV. We're going to monitor you, and one person can represent, depending on the market, 100,000 people. With streaming, they will have the opportunity to not only be able to tell pretty much to the person what they're watching, how long they're watching it for, how often do they flip, how often do they fast forward through commercials or not, but also on an opt-in basis, which I imagine people would get compensated for either through money or some sort of discount. For example, you have YouTube TV, you pay $120 a month, but if you opt in, they'll drop it to $100 a month, and that is going to be subsidized by Nielsen. Kelly, it could completely change the name of the game when it comes to ratings, which, as you know, is what these billions of dollars in advertising are based on.
Right, and especially, I think you even posted something on it, Dave. I mean, how do you handle ratings if someone is watching a multi-view? If I've got an NBA playoff game on and the Giants game the A's game up, how are you counting that?
That's right.
Is it what audio I've got? So it's a whole new world. They still want eyeballs, and it's still exceptionally valuable because no one sits through commercials for anything except for live sports anymore. That's the only place they sit through commercials.
And you also have, so for example, again, I'm a YouTube TV guy, but other streamers will notice this. They now have ways, and they have for a minute, where you can, through your YouTube app, your TV app on your phone, let's say I'm watching the game on TV, I can now turn my phone into basically a secondary screen that would provide stats and background and different things on the game I'm watching. I 100% believe that that's a Trojan horse. What I believe they're doing is, and by the way, this is why the networks are going to be huge fans of streaming as well. They're laying the foundation and the groundwork, Kelly. Once people are continuously streaming and it gets big enough, that's where they're going to really start rolling out the partnerships with the gambling sites.
We're
going to be able to sit there and watch a baseball game and literally be able to interact and say, okay, is this guy, I can put $1 down to win $7 that Aaron Judge is going to hit a home run here, or I'll take a double play. I mean, just for a second, let's take a moment and imagine that you've got, little tiny winky dink dollar bets going, and you're able to double play this inning. Okay, I'll hit that. That'll pay $12 on the dollar. Here's the team I want to win. But it's the individual tiny micro bets that I think are really going to be a huge part of the discourse over the next decade.
Oh yeah, it's the Robin Hood of betting, where you and that's no, you're absolutely right. That is coming up. By the way, the other thing that Sacramento should do is come up with a team that would play the Savannah Bananas. That's the other thing we should do.
That's
81,000 people at their game last weekend. 81,000, and the guy who started it still owns the entire league. I mean, they're just blowing up.
It's the best story. It's the best story in sports promotion since Bill Veeck. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, none have ever taken off the way that has. It's crazy how 81,000 is.
And by the way, it's about the sport.
Yeah,
that is probably dying more than the other two big sports.
It is. They ought to try to buy it. Major League Baseball should be buying it right now. But I don't think he'd sell. But hey, guys, could I throw in 30 seconds for an old friend, Jeff Spurbeck? Jeff was the Jeff was the agent and business partner of John Elway, and Jeff was the quarterback on my 7th and 8th grade team.
Oh my God!
We grew up together in East Sac, and I'm so sorry for his family, for his beloved mom, who's still alive here in Sacramento. And I mean, the Spurbeck name was football royalty. When I was growing up. I mean, Marshall, incredible man who was a highly touted QB. Their dad was coach at CB, coach at Valley, ran the Hornet Stinger Foundation. Marshall did incredible things on the field, and coach Sac State as well. Jeff had a great career, over 100 NFL players, and sadly died after a tragic accident last weekend involving a golf cart down in the desert. I mean, their sister married Kenny O'Brien.
Wow.
His nephew, Thomas Spurbeck, one of the top 3 high school athletes I've ever seen play. He was MVP of the Orange Bowl for Boise State a few years back. So just a great family, and couldn't let the moment pass without just expressing how sad I was to hear about what happened to Jeff, and deepest condolences to his wife and family. So that was it.
It's well said, Kelly. Yeah. Honestly, that is tragic. It's just senseless. And yeah. Anyways, thank you.
All right, guys. Good to see you. See you next week.
You too, brother. See you next week. Take care. It's Kelly Brothers. No good way to segue out of that. Yeah, we saw that story earlier.